Or just today, we've got news that Rashid Sunak is now the Prime Minister.
Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Rishi Sunak has become the new PM of the United Kingdom after Liz Truss only survived 45 days. People are very gassed and excited that he's the first Hindu, he's the first Asian, he's the first ethnic minority, and of course, this is great and that's fantastic. But for those people that are saying
this is going to be inspiration for the young kids, that they can do this, that they can become the Prime Minister, that they can, come to these high positions and doing great things.
That sounds very good, but it sounds very Marvel, sounds very Hollywoodish.
There are children in my constituency this evening who turned on the news to see someone like them about to become our country's Prime Minister. I think that's a wonderful thing.
Smile to Jannah.
The Quranly app. Subscription cheaper than Netflix, encouraging Quran reading, modern, engaging and fun. Download it today. If, like Rafiki said in The Lion King, if you look harder and you look deeper, you will not be so naive to accept such statements off the cuff. Because Rishi Sunak is somebody that received a private education, and we know how expensive and inaccessible that is for the average layman. He then went to Oxford University, which again is not something that's accessible to the layman. Joined an investment club there, then managed to get a job in Goldman Sachs.
The governments don't rule the world. Goldman Sachs rules the world.
Then married a billionaire's daughter, and earlier this year in the Sunday Times, he was mentioned in the rich list as well. He is not somebody that is accessible. He's not just some random Indian that's an inspiration for all of us that we can do this. No, we have to be honest that he is somebody that comes from a certain class. That class is inaccessible to the average layman, like yourself and myself. And that's why in this speech you can see how he's downplaying the fact that you would give money to the underprivileged, like Labour was.
I managed to start changing the funding formulas to make sure that areas like this are getting the funding that they deserve. Because we inherited a bunch of formulas from the Labour Party that shoved all the funding into deprived urban areas. Then that needed to be undone. I started the work of undoing that.
And then he's talking about the sort of people that he hangs around, aristocrats. But when it comes to the working class, he says, no, not the working class, mate. I don't really know them.
I have friends who are aristocrats, I have friends who are upper class, I have friends who are working class, but I'm not working class.
So because of that, guys, let's be a bit sensible, and you should know whose interests he will be looking after. Just because he's brown, you expect him to, help the immigrants? Well, how much did Obama help the blacks? This is becoming all too common, utilizing Priti Patel and Braverman and, the guy that got fired by Liz Truss just so she could survive, 5 more days. People of ethnic minorities are being used. They're being used because no one can say, oh, we don't have representation. It's not about people that are black or white. It's about people that talk about the issues that need to be talked about. I mean, an example would be Jeremy Corbyn. Not in every aspect, but he talked about the aspects that other people couldn't or wouldn't. So let's look at this Rishi Sunak. Of course, we're British citizens. Yeah, born in the country. I want the country to do well, but let's not be deluded. You know what I'm saying? And let's call a spade a spade. If there's something going wrong, mate, we should be able to say, you know what? This is dodgy. That's not right. And Rishi Sunak is somebody that got rejected by his own party for Liz Truss, who only survived 45 days. And then he ran again, and the person he was running against dropped out. Boris Johnson didn't have enough support, so this guy by default became the PM. It's not a big feat. He got 108 votes of the Conservative Party, the same party that rejected him initially. He wasn't in an interview. He hasn't been grilled for his policies. I mean, what sort of democracy is this? Yeah, what's happened to democracy? This has become like a banana republic, mate. So is it any wonder when David Cameron was in India and he predicted that Rishi Sunak would become PM?
But the British public did something momentous. They elected more members of Parliament of Indian origin than there have ever been before. With Rishi Sunak, Alok Sharma, Suella Fernandez in Parliament, with Shailesh Vara in the Ministry of Justice, and with Priti Patel sat at my cabinet table. I know one thing. it won't be long till there is a British Indian Prime Minister in Downing Street.
And I wouldn't put it past these people that these things are planned. Allah knows best. I don't know. Is it any surprise that they would use ethnic minorities to come in, take the blame, because Brexit has killed 3 prime ministers? Not literally, mate. Yeah, metaphorically. Brexit is a big problem for this country. The pound has crashed. The PM has left after 45 days.
I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party.
Bring in the brown guy. See what he's going to do.
Or just today, we've got news that Rashid Sunak is now the Prime Minister.
But let's see though, let's see. We're optimistic, of course, but we call a spade a spade. And for the Hindutva people that are getting gassed,
Yo, one of our dons has made it. Yo, he's made it.
yo, let's look at a few tweets here, yeah, where he's supporting beef farming. In fact, he's actively supporting it. Yeah, and he's happy he's a consumer of beef as well. I challenge you Hindutva people to retweet this, mate. Retweet it, it's on my Twitter page. Retweet it, mate, and praise this aspect of Rishi Sunak. Zip. Conveniently, you're not going to mention these things, mate. So guys, let's be realistic when we hear these things. Let's not just jump on there and go,
Yo, he looks like me, mate. Therefore, he's gonna support me.
how many times have we been bitten from the same hole? There's a narration that says that a believer does not get bitten from the same hole twice. Look at the policies of the individual. Don't look at the wrapper of the individual. Let's leave it there, guys. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum.